Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are rounding fractions. Okay, so basically when we're rounding fractions, we have three options here. We're looking at the benchmark 0, half, and 1. And, excuse me, we're going to want to see where our fractions fall. Is our fraction closer to 0? Is it closer to half? Or is it closer to 1? So, for example, let's say that my fraction was 1/6. Okay, so using this 0, half, and 1, I'm going to want to sort of fill in a couple things in those options. First of all, halfway to 6 would be 3. 3/6 is half. I know that. That's equivalent. I know that 1 would be 6/6. So now I can go ahead and use this number line to sort of place where 1/6 would be. So I'm going to take my number line and cut it into sixths. Why sixth, you ask? Because that's what my denominator is. So using my number line, 1, 2, 3 I already have. Remember that's half. 4, 5, and then 6, 6/6. So 1/6 would be placed here. So looking at my options, is 1/6 closer to 0, closer to half, or closer to 1? We see that 1/6 is closer to 0. So 1/6 is about 0. Okay? So let's look at another example. 0, half, or 1. Okay, well, what if I had the fraction 4/9? Ninths! It's an odd number! Do not fear. Odd numbers do have a halfway point. With odd numbers, the halfway point is, in fact, a half. So half of 9 is actually 4.5. Okay? So, thinking about my number line, I know that I would have 9/9 over here. This would be 4.5/9. So, where would 4/9 fall? Well, let's fill in the rest of my number line. It has to be cut into 9 even parts. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4.5, remember? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9/9. So, I've got 9 even parts. 4 would be over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4/9 is here. So when looking at my three options, is it closer to 0, half, or 1? 4/9 is closer to half. So 4/9 is about half. It's about halfway. Another example, if I have 0, half, or 1, let's say, for example, that I had 9/10. Where would 9/10 fall? Is it closer to 0, closer to half, or closer to 1? Well, I could go ahead and fill in my halfway and my 1 point. Half of 10 is 5. 5/10 would be halfway. 10/10 is equivalent to 1. So, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's my halfway point. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 9/10 would be here. So looking at my three choices, 0, half, or 1, 9/10 would be closer to 1. So 9/10 is about 1 whole. So I hope you have a pen and paper ready. And let's go ahead and use my number line. And let's try it on your own. let's start with the fraction. How about 5/8? Go ahead and pause my video and see if you can tell me what 5/8 is about. Is it about 0, half, or 1? Alright, so hopefully you paused it and you thought about the halfway point of 8, and I know half of 8 is 4. 4/8 would be halfway. 1 whole would be 8/8. So if I were to kind of place where 5/8 would go, it would be right after the 4. It would be about right here. And I can tell, if I were to fill in the rest of my number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, looking at all of these pieces together, that 5/8 is closest to half. Hope you got that right. Alright, let's try another example. Again, 0, half, whole number 1. And let's try 1/6. Go ahead and pause that. Alright, hopefully when you did, you thought about a number line cut into 6. The halfway point would be 3/6. That's halfway. 6/6 is 1 whole. So if I were to put in the rest of my hashtags, or hash marks, not hashtags, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1/6 would be here. So you would have seen that 1/6 is about 0. Alright, one more. Alright, 0, half, and 1. Let's try 3/7. Alright, I hope you didn't freak out on me. I know 7 is an odd number. Odd numbers still have a halfway point. They're just halves. So half of 7 is actually 3.5. 1 full would be, or 1 whole would be 7/7. So putting in the rest of my tags here, 1, 2, 3, that's 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3/7 would be about there. And hopefully you saw that 3/7 is about half. We would round that to half. Another way in class that we mentioned rounding fractions is you can use shading a model as well. It's just another option. So again, let's look at 3/7, the example we just did. I can make a model, sort of like a fraction bar, and I would cut it into 7 pieces, again using that denominator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as evenly as you can make them. I'm going to shade in 3, 1, 2, 3. Now here's where it kind of gets a little dicey if your spots aren't as even, or you want to find that halfway mark just because it's a good benchmark to use. So I'm going to go ahead and just take my model and slice it in half. And that's another visual way to say, oh, well, looking at this model, it's about halfway shaded in. So that tells me that 3/7 is about half. Hope that helps.